This video is made available by the Berea College Computer Science Department under a Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike version 4.0 license. There's been a question or two about Buzzmaker, and I'm going to give you a sort of an equivalent problem. I'm going to define a function called add2 using our function definition syntax. It's going to return a and b added together. And I'll go ahead and write a check equals statement and see if 1 and 1 is 2. If you don't import rack unit, it's not. So we'll import rack unit, hit run, says yes, indeed, 1 plus 1 is 2. Now, I'm also going to put this in what we'll call our lambda syntax. I'm struggling with what to name the function here. But it's really our identifier definition syntax. So add2 hyphen lambda, the symbol, is bound to a single value, which is a lambda. Lambda means function. So add2 hyphen lambda is the same as add2. Add2 in both cases is bound to a function of 2 parameters. Right. In one, the word lambda is invisible. In the other, the word lambda is visible. So if I want to do the same thing again with mult2, I would say mult2 of a and b in our function definition syntax is a times b. But if I want to express it in our identifier binding syntax, forgot to write my tests. 2 times 3 is 7. No, 6. If I want to write the same thing by binding the identifier mult2, and I keep making mistakes here today, that's not what I want. I want the identifier mult2 hyphen lambda to be bound to a lambda expression. A lambda expression means function of 2 arguments, a and b, and I want it to multiply those 2 arguments. Now this is a little tricky. I would like to have a function that returns functions. I'm going to call it arithmaker. It is a function of 1 argument. It returns a function of 2 arguments. So the first argument you give it is the operation, and then when you apply it a second time, it will use that operation and apply it to its arguments a and b. Let's see how we'd use that. If I define an identifier called add2m, I can bind it to the result of calling arithmaker with plus. In that case, plus gets bound to operation, and arithmaker returns a function of 2 arguments, a and b, where operation is plus. In other words, another way of defining add2. Likewise, we can then do mult2m, we can do div2m, we can do mod2m with modulo, all by having a function of 1 argument, where that first argument is the arithmetic operation. It returns a function of 2 arguments, a and b, and it applies the operation to the arguments a and b. That hopefully is enough to get you started in your thinking, and it is something that we haven't done a lot of practice with. So if you have more questions, by all means ask. What I'm doing here is writing tests, and if I hit run, they all work. That's kind of interesting. So go ahead and play with this idea and fire some questions off if you have more.